Hi, this is Mrs. Lockie, and I'm going to be modeling how to analyze tone in this poem and how to write an analysis of the tone in the poem. So the first thing I'm going to do is read through the poem. Okay, this poem is called BFF by Christine Hepperman. Jill doesn't want me to feel bad. Jill says Dylan isn't good enough for me. Jill would let me borrow her green skirt, but it's new and I might stretch it out. Jill is glad her parents don't force her to buy hot lunch. Jill knows a super chick way to do my hair, so it will hide my ginormous forehead. Jill can teach me how to do my mascara, so my eyes look less squinty. Jill can't help it if Dylan asked her to the movie. Jill won't tell anyone besides Dylan about that time I peed my pants at Target. Jill wishes I had made cheerleading too. But aren't her pom-poms cute? Jill is so glad we're BFFs because who else could put up with you? LOL. Okay, I'm going to read it one more time to make sure I understand the meaning of the poem. BFF by Christine Hepperman. Jill doesn't want me to feel bad. Jill says Dylan isn't good enough for me. Jill would let me borrow her green skirt, but it's new and I might stretch it out. Jill is glad her parents don't force her to buy hot lunch. Jill knows a super chick way to do my hair, so it will hide my ginormous forehead. Jill can teach me how to do my mascara so my eyes look less squinty. Jill can't help it if Dylan asked her to the movie. Jill won't tell anyone besides Dylan about that time I peed my pants at Target. Jill wishes I had made cheerleading too. But aren't her pom-poms cute? Jill is so glad we're BFFs because, who else could put up with you? LOL. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do to make sure I understand the meaning of the poem is identify the topic of the poem. So the title, BFF, is kind of giving me a clue. So I think this poem is about two friends, and the speaker is Jill's friend talking about or speaking about her interactions with Jill and what kind of person Jill is as a friend. And I notice at the beginning of the poem, it seems like Jill is a good friend. Jill doesn't want me to feel bad, so good friends would do that. Jill knows a super chick way to do my hair, so it seems good that she's doing her friend's hair, but I wonder if Jill told her friend that she had a ginormous forehead, which is kind of mean. Jill likes to help her with her makeup, but then it's to make her friend's eyes look less squinty, so it's almost like Jill thinks that her friend is not that pretty. She's got a big forehead and squinty eyes. So some things are positive about Jill, and then some things are negative. And then at the end of the poem, it says, Jill is so glad we're BFFs because, who else could put up with you? LOL. And so that seems that Jill is aware that her friend is not really a good friend, and she's being sarcastic with that last line in the poem. So one thing I notice about the tone is that, and the tone is the attitude the author or the speaker has about the subject. So I have to think to myself, the speaker is Jill's friend. What attitude does she have about her and Jill's friendship? And it seems like at the beginning some things are good between Jill and her friend, but then there's some hints or clues that her friend is kind of mean. Like her friend might have suggested that Jill is overweight, and that's why Jill thinks she might stretch out the green skirt. Or here it looks like Jill is judging her friend, the speaker, because her friend has to eat hot lunch. And Jill might have told her friend that she has a ginormous forehead. So those things are kind of mean. So I noticed, even though there's some positive things about Jill, that the tone shifts from positive things to more negative. And so that makes me think that the tone is sarcastic. Okay, now that I've read the poem and kind of shared my thinking, I'm going to model how to write an analysis about the poem. And so I'm going to take a look at the rubric and see what I have to demonstrate in my analysis of tone. So for the standard, one of the standards is determine the meaning of words and phrases as they're used in the text, including figurative and connotative meanings. Analyze the impact of specific word choices on meaning and tone, including analogies or allusions to other texts. So to meet the standard, I need to do these two things. I need to precisely identify the tone, deconstruct the evidence to explain how the word choice affects the tone. So I need to explain how my evidence affects the tone or conveys the tone. And then here it says another standard I need to demonstrate is I need to cite textual evidence that most strongly supports an analysis of what the text says, explicitly as well as inferences drawn from the text. I'm going to focus on what I need to do to meet the standard. So it says text evidence provides meaningful support, signal phrases smoothly introduces the text evidence, and citation errors are minor. So first thing to do is be aware of how you're going to be assessed. So I took a look at the rubric, and what I'm going to do here is talk and type my analysis of tone right next to the poem. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with is I need to state the author, title, and tone in the first sentence. So I identified the tone as sarcastic. In BFF by Christine Hepperman, the tone is sarcastic. So I identified the title, author, and tone in the first sentence. This is shown through the details of how the speaker of the poem talks about her best friend Jill. Details like the use of italics and specific word choice reveal that the speaker is being sarcastic about how good of a friend Jill is. Okay, so after stating the tone is sarcastic, I just kind of introduced my thinking by saying this is shown through the details of how the speaker of the poem talks about her best friend Jill, and identified some details like italics and word choice reveal that she's being sarcastic. Now I need to give more specifics and text evidence. For example, even though the speaker lists reasons why Jill would appear to be a good friend, like offering to share her clothes and do the speaker's hair, the author's use of italics reveals Jill's true nature. In the first stanza, when it says, Jill is so glad her parents don't force her The slash is to indicate a line break. To buy hot lunch. And this word, her, is in italics in the poem. Okay, so with this line, Jill is so glad her parents don't force her to buy hot lunch. It is obvious that Jill is judging the speaker for buying hot lunch. Okay, and then I have to cite that text evidence. So the author's last name is Hepperman. And then instead of a page number, I do line numbers from the poem. So I'm going to scroll over, and I have the lines numbered right there. So this is the lines 5 and 6 that I just cited. And then when I do a citation, the punctuation goes after the citation. The speaker, this is my commentary now. The speaker is clearly aware that she is being put down by Jill, which makes the list of good things Jill does come off as sarcastic. The specific word choice of LOL, especially emphasizes how fake Jill is and the speaker's sarcastic tone. Okay, I used LOL from the poem as text evidence, so I need to cite that. Hepperman, so that's the author's last name. If I move over to the poem, that's, okay, LOL is actually line 19, so I'm going to change that. Okay, and then the punctuation goes after the parentheses. LOL, I have to explain that text evidence now. LOL rarely means that someone is actually laughing out loud. So when the speaker says, Jill is so glad we're BFFs because, like, who else could put up with you? LOL. And this is in italics. It is clear that Jill is just putting that in there to make her rude comment seem less harsh. The speaker is mocking Jill and pointing out her fakeness. So, even though the poem seems to say great things about the speaker's BFF, it is clear that the tone is sarcastic.